Hello and welcome to the next lecture. This lecture is going to be about hierarchy, typography, and imagery, which are three very important aspects within visual design. These are important, but I don't want you to get hung up on trying to remember the terminology. I just want you to be aware of these elements so that when we practice it, you'll know what I'm talking about when I reference back to it. But you are going to be hearing these terms over and over again, so don't be afraid of missing anything. They will be brought up again. So hierarchy is the sorting system of information, and it's very important within a design. I like to think about hierarchy when I look at a magazine, and typically the title is the largest, and then you have a little subheading, which is least important because it's in a smaller font, and then you have the body of the article. You are going to want to think about sorting it from the very most important being the largest and the least important of the information being the smallest, and you will create hierarchy. Now, typography is the visual aspects of words, and don't get me started, I'm a slight nerd on typography, but I have linked a couple resources within the PowerPoint. Fonts in Use is a great website that shows you how to pair up different fonts. TypeWolf is a website where you can find out the trends that are happening within typography. And KernType is a fun game where you can practice your kerning, which is spacing the letters evenly across the word. And it's kind of nerdy. I like playing it. It's a fun game. Those are some really good resources to learn more about typography. We will be going over this again once we go into the practical application of this course. Imagery is very important because it is how you use images to create a balanced design. And as we learned in the last lecture, symmetry and balance are very important within a composition. And you want to not just stick any image in there. You want to tactfully place images that are related to your design within the composition. And one website I love is Pixabay. I cannot get enough of it. They've got video, they've got images, they've got vector graphics, they have got illustrations. Pretty much anything you could want is on that website. Alignment is also very important when you are creating hierarchy and you're creating symmetry and order within the composition. So alignment is basically an arrangement of assets in a composition. And if you go way back, I don't know if you guys did this when you were younger, when you did math, you had graph paper and how everything's arranged in a grid. That is how you should be designing your compositions. And you don't necessarily have to use a grid. You can use straight edges. You can use lines to help align your text and your images together. And when we go into the practical applications, I'm going to show you some of my quick tricks that I use to help get alignment without spending a ton of time aligning the individual components. That is the end of this lecture. We are going to dive into the psychology of color, which I love so much because it is very important when you are creating a design. So go ahead and move on to the next lecture.